This is only going to be for the use of informing other people. So we won't be selling it or anything like that. We'll be putting it on our website so that people can continue to see the fabulous conversation we're going to have today. I want to just remind you of a couple of things before I introduce our special arranger of this whole event, the brainstorm of one woman who's put this all together. I want to remind you of a few things. If you would, keep your video on if you're comfortable with us videoing you. We want to see your beautiful faces, and we want to connect with you as human beings, not just a connection across the world, because we're all in this world together. We also would ask you to keep your mic on mute unless you're asking a question or you're speaking. Chat is available to you, so please use it. We'd love for you to use chat. You are welcome to ask questions. We're going to have some speakers, then we're going to have a Q&A session, and then we're going to wrap it up. So I do want to let you know that we want you to think about the questions and that you want to ask, and you can put those in at any time and we'll get to them as we can. Next, I want to introduce Majida, I'm sorry. Majida Abdi is the founder of a very special organization, and I'm going to have her talk about that. And you can see the lineup of our speakers, and Majida is going to be introducing the rest of those. I'm in the US. I'm the owner of Farley Training. I do training in instructional design. And Majida and I met on Clubhouse. So Majida, I just would ask you to take over, and you can give the list of our speakers, and then I'll take the slide down.
Hello,
And
thank you. Can you hear me? I think I'm clear. Hello, thank you all for being here. I'm happy. It's like a dream come true to get this together, because it all started with a dream, and my dream is that we are the dream, that we can make a difference together. And that's why I started this nonprofit called Andalai Empower. Andalai is a word in Amharic, the official language of Ethiopia. It means together. And I truly believe that together we can empower and we can make a difference, not only to empower others, but to empower ourselves. So the nonprofit organization is based in Paris, where I live. And its intention, though it started, the why, I'll go on the why. I started with a strong heart call. I was flabbergasted to find out that a girl was so humiliated, so mistreated in the countryside of my country, that for just having her first cycle while she was in class, that she committed suicide. And then I found out that she's not the only one. There's one case of a girl called Jacqueline that you can see on the internet. And some people who work in this field know that there's hundreds of millions of girls that are excluded from school 1 week a month. I mean, in this day and age, that is just not right. And our girls need to go to school. Girls' education is key. They're the future mothers of our society. And it is not only a girls and women issue, and it's a human rights issue. It concerns us all. And thank you for Alexander for being part here with us, and all the men who are also here, and because it is something that we need to change together. So with this strong heart call, I started Andalai, this is an association in Paris, a nonprofit, and the intention is to create awareness, because many people like I didn't know about all these girls dying, and some don't even know that there's all these millions of girls excluded from school, and to create awareness for those who don't know, but us who are aware and who can create awareness for others, can also empower those who are stuck in this limiting beliefs. And we're all accountable. I say we're all one blood family, and we can take action together by simple actions like what I started. The first action is to ask everyone to write a sentence or two on menstruation, put their picture, and to launch on the 28th with the website of Andela Empower to help the places where they cannot talk. I'm thinking of girls like Jacqueline, had she had a chance to see an exhibition virtually of hundreds of people from all over the world freely talking about it, that it's natural, that, you know, with their picture, that there's no shame, there's no taboo. Not only does it, that's the way taboos end, but it also could save life and facilitate the acceleration. There's a lot of people working on this cause, and some great speakers are going to speak here. But I believe that we need to be more, but also we need to connect together. And that's what also Andela Empower wants to do, is like we're doing here with this platform, create more platforms and more collaborations from Japan to Argentina to Ethiopia. And this is the first platform we're starting. So thank you, all of you pioneers, for being here and empowering this this journey. There's a lot I can share on this topic, but I'd rather keep it for the conversation later and at the end, or if you have any questions. And because I really want to also myself, just like you would, hear the amazing things that the other speakers are doing and have to share. And without further ado, I have introduced my sister from Japan, Seiko, who only speaks Japanese. So she has a wonderful friend, Eri, who is going to be translating for her. And like all of us here, or it's just all heart, we're in the gift economy. We're all giving of our time and of our energy. And I want to also, big shout to Linda, to Professor Alexander, to Dr. Senna, to Seiko, to Eri, who's translating, because it is of our time, and it's the biggest asset is ourselves. So thank you, and welcome Eri and Seiko to continue.
Marsha, before we have Seiko speak, let's go ahead and do that poll. That I know that the issue of menstruation is really limiting, and our beliefs around that are really limiting girls from getting educations, and even, like you said, sometimes resulting in suicide. So we wanted to take a poll. I'm going to launch this poll and just ask you to ask some questions. I know we've got some gentlemen on here, and these may not apply as much to you, but I'd like you to just take a moment. You should be seeing the poll now. There are 8 questions. Read those and check all of those questions that apply to you. So I'm going to read them in case the English is your second language. It might make it a little easier. The first one is, my mother explained menstruation to me. The second one is, my mother did not explain menstruation to me. Third is, just check all of those that apply. I've felt embarrassed or ashamed about menstruating. The next one, I've been prevented from doing things I wanted or needed to do during menstruation. Other people have embarrassed me about my menstruation. I have been able to afford, I've been unable to afford pads or tampons for my menstruation, and that could be any time in your life. And the last one is, I have often dreaded menstruation. So I'll give you just a couple, maybe 30 more seconds. We've got quite a few people that have answered, and I'm going to show you.
Sorry, there was one more. It says, I feel positive about menstruation after after I have often dreaded menstruation. Because
yes, thank you.
The contrast. Yeah, thank you for doing this wonderful. Linda, thank you.
So we've got, thank you for that. It's all teamwork here. So give you about 15 more seconds if you have the opportunity. I know some of you can't answer that. We've still got people answering, and I know you're anxious to see the results. And I think this is so interesting when we look at the results. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end the polling now. And I will share those results with you. So take a look at those. We have a lot of people that said their mother explained it to them, but almost as many that said she didn't. It could be an awkward conversation. A lot of people have said they felt embarrassed. Not very many of this group have been unable to afford pads, and that probably indicates a lot about how we were raised in our economic situation. So just take a look at that. The last one, 74% feel positive about it and that it's a natural part of life. And I'm going to applaud that. I think that's fabulous. And I think a lot of places we couldn't say that. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing the results. And Masha, I'll go ahead and turn this back over to you.
Thank you. I didn't have time to finish my poll, but I actually was not aware about it when I had my menstruation, and it was traumatic. I thought I was hemorrhaging, and I went to see the doctor, and I never had a conversation about it with my mother, and I never, ever, actually. The first time my mother ever mentioned menstruation is when my daughter, as a grandmother, when my daughter had it. So imagine like all the time it took her to get there. And so this is not, I'm not in the blame game. I love my mother. It's just the reality of the situation. And this is somebody who lives in the city. And so the more than 47% just shows the reality. We're all people who are, I have access to computer, right? So we're not talking about people who are just only in the poor rural area, yet such a high number still have never had someone, their mother, explain to them, which is the reality. But what is wonderful, and the contrast, between though 47% of us didn't have Armand introduced to us, a lot of process has been done, and also shows why you're here, being part of an empowerment world, that such a high number are not ashamed about it. And we would like this kind of percentage to be in every country, in every zone, and not only for us who are already going towards empowerment. So thank you for being part of the pioneers to empower this movement. So without further ado, I pass on to my dear Seiko with Eri, who is going to translate for her, and you'll be really, for a lot of people, it will be the first time they'll hear what they're about to hear.